Hey there, YouTube. So we've got something a little bit different here. I do want your opinions. Definitely let us know if you like this by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing if you're brand new for those notifications, and let's take a look at Historic today in Arena. We're going to be playing one that one of the other streamers out there has played, and I've kind of enjoyed it. It's actually one of the few decks that I actually own here, also on Arena. So without any further ado, Historic, red-black, Pyromancer, Fling Aggro with Lurrus. Here you go, red-black, Pyro Fling Aggro is what I'm calling it. Jeff Hooglin ran something like this. I think this is the exact 75. So we're going to go ahead and give it our own spin here on it. Spin being play. We don't have too many wild cards. We're getting into kind of what Arena has available to us. What does this deck do? It actually kind of feels a little bit like our red-black Croxus Elemental list. It uses Lurrus, but it's actually a companion in this fashion. And we actually, in this case, instead of making our opponents discard cards, we're trying to apply enough damage to win the game. In this 75, we have definitely Thoughtseize, which most modern players will be very familiar with. But then we have some other cards. We have Archfiend's Vessel, which can become a 5/5 if you grab it from the yard. Great with Lurrus. Great with Claim to Fame, which returns 2 or less CMC creatures. Because we're playing Lurrus, it's pretty much almost an auto-include to include the Claim to Fame here, so that you can get things back like Dreadhorde Arcanist, which you're familiar with, getting to replay your spells at 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Young Pyromancer, which many are familiar with as well, making a lot of creatures. And then this one, which is not as notable, but Dreadhorde Butcher is basically like a Stromkirk Noble, which gained counters as it went along, and this does the same. What's kind of cool is that with this and Village Rites, you can sack it, draw cards, and you can actually use it as a bit of a fling effect to your opponent. As it dies, it does damage to some opponent, creature, planeswalker, any target, equal to its power. Finally, wrapping this up, we have a little bit of removal, Innocent Blood, and if you've played any vampires or knights, you might be familiar with Knight of Ebon Legion here. We also have Claim the Firstborn, which is a bit of like an Act of Treason styled card, except it's for creatures 3 or less. So that's generally the list. The list is trying to basically run out some quick damage, aggression, use the graveyard, not as much as a Croxa build, which is kind of what I liked, and after playing some in the I guess the ranked, as it's called here, I've kind of liked the not so reliant on getting Croxa from the graveyard. That's been something that's been beneficial for us. Sideboard has a few things for graveyard, a few things for control, a few things for other creature decks, and then a few other little nuances here that you'll see. We struggle a little bit not knowing historic meta, but in all, I think we know when to bring those in and when not to. Red-black, Pyromancer with Lurrus Companion, a Fling Aggro deck here in Historic. The last thing I'll leave with you before we begin our round of matches is this actually feels somewhat modern-like. And so this is what drew me to Historic a bit, is some of these decks that do feel a little bit like Modern Light. Of course, it's not going to be exactly like a Modern list. That's not the point here. The point here is to experience the new client, to get our feet wet, to build a collection, and to see what kind of decks we can play with the full collection as something that we like, so that you're not just stuck in Standard or other types of formats. Let's get to our matches. Because it's not league-based in Arena, we're just going to play a set of them and see how we do, and we'll probably complete our dailies today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. As we queue up here, we will be playing traditional Historic Ranked, which means a best of 3. We did play some of the best of 1s to get familiar with the interface. We definitely make some errors from time to time, so bear with us. But we've got ourselves in a match. Let's play first. Let's see how we do. Alright, so normally I would not recommend playing with 1 land, but what's funny is this deck can kind of get away with it. And because this is kind of a learning experience, let's go ahead and play it. Now there's a lot of flashy things that happen on the screen. We'll talk through them as we play. We have a Thoughtseize here. We've got clearly a Bant, or sorry, yeah, probably blue-green, maybe a Bant list here. This one's a bit tough here because we have the Hydra Crasises, which can like gain them, but we also have a Euro to deal with. I think I'm going to get rid of the Euro because gaining that life and drawing that card could be detrimental to us. Let's go ahead and start with a Knight of the Ebon Legion. Having a second land here would be beneficial at this point. We'll see if we get lucky enough to draw that second land at some point. And we're probably going to get very punished here for not getting that. There's our second land here. Seems alright. Go ahead and just flood the board here. I'm pretty confident with getting everything out here. See if we can't beat a Crasis here. 2/2 Crasis, I presume. And that's what we do hit here. Go ahead and attack with everything because I can claim one of these back. They lost 4 or more. Well, they didn't lose 4 or more here. That's okay, though. Alright, we gained a little bit of life. They didn't want to bring the Archfiend's vessels back very clearly because that would be bad. 5/5s are quite scary. We might be seeing ourselves with another Hydroid Crasis here. Maybe there was an argument to not taking Euro here. Maybe. Let's go ahead and combat in with just the vessels here. They seem okay with those. So those are ready in the graveyard for us. They might not be a bad thing. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of mana. 7, 8. We're gonna see great big Ugin here soon. I think we're a bit behind. Don't you? Probably. Alright, they're good with Ugin. We have 2 cards here. We could Thoughtseize. Let's go ahead and start there. See if they've kind of run out of gas. The answer is no. I'm good. I'm good. There was some big Ulamogs and Ugins there. So, let's bring a pair of Bedevils in, a Dreadhorde Butcher in here as well. Claim the Firstborn's actually not too bad. I don't mind an Innocent Blood, Duresses, Cling, you know, just everything. Just everything. Alright, what do we not like? I don't like the cuts here. Let's think here. Maybe we shouldn't have the Innocent Bloods. We'll go down to 1. We can drop the 1 claim. Thoughtseize and Duress seem okay. This is a non-creature, though. You know what? Let's not do the Duress. Now we're pretty much back to what we had. We have a Bedevil here. I've got claims, Thoughtseizes. Let's take a Dreadhorde Arcanist out. I do like bringing the Butcher in here. I like bringing in the Butcher because it's a quicker spell. I think Bedevil's fine over the Cut. The Cut does 4. Bedevil can also hit Planeswalkers. What else we got? Whoa. That's crazy. You know what? I think we're good. Let's just not keep a 1-lander, right? Even in the low to the ground deck, it's better to have 2 mana. Let's play first. Alright, we do have our 2 mana. I don't like our hand, though. It's not very aggressive. So let's go ahead and mulligan. Feels kind of bad to mulligan, but sometimes you've just got to. This hand's much, much better. Let's go ahead and keep. I want to get rid of a mountain here because what we have here is we have a Knight on turn 1, a Butcher on turn 2, potentially a Bedevil, but also we have this claim that could steal something. So let's put the mountain down. Down to the bottom. Start with a Knight and pass. This hand, we should have been more aggressive with our mulligan last game. Alright, we have a Grazer here. This is a good blocker, a good ramp spell as well for our lovely opponent. Let's put a Butcher down and swing for a couple points here. And pass we go. Now we could take a claim here and steal these. I don't think I want to. There's a Graph Digger's Cage. Bedevil takes care of the Graph Digger's Cage nicely. So I think here, let's pay the 2 life. Let's attack. I might actually be just firing this off to make it grow here, so I get rid of a grazer. Let's do that just to kind of clear the board here a little bit. They did not put anything in. That's really not good for them. I wonder if I'm just supposed to Bedevil this out of the way and get in. Let's not rush it. They block over here. Let's go ahead and activate this, make it bigger, and it'll get a counter on it. If they play like a Krasis or something, we have a couple claims. My opponent's clearly missing their land drop. They do find it finally. So this is kind of interesting. Let's go ahead and claim, no, yes. Let's go ahead and claim this out of the way. And then we'll connect. And then I'm going to actually Innocent Blood this away. And we'll play a Vessel down. So I can grab something with the Claim the Firstborn. I can also remove something. With them at 4 mana, and these colors typically not having a Wrath effect, I think we'll be okay. Alright. So, I could claim this and Butcher in. If I do that, I hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'd have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 here. I would have lethal. I have a Bedevil. Let's do that. Let's claim. Let's Butcher in. Everything connects. I gain a point. We do some serious damage here. And these grow larger. Now, if these ever die, they'll lose. They're obviously likely to gain some life here, but trading with a Butcher is not an ideal state that they're in. This Grafdigger's Cage also isn't doing a whole lot for them, as I haven't really interacted with my graveyard, which is the one thing I said I didn't like about the Kroxa list. Here we can clear easily, and we can swing for lethal. We got there. Okay. Going to game 3 here, having kind of thrown away the first one. I don't think there's much I want to change. I could see bringing in one more Innocent Blood as a trade with my opponent. With them having the Grafdigger's Cage, I kind of want the Abrade as well. Although the Abrade doesn't kill... It doesn't kill Euro very well. It will kill a Hydra Krasis in some of the early stages of the game. And I like that option. I think for me, I don't know if I need this Cling to Dust. The Cling to Dust is probably a little more for a little more of a graveyard deck. I don't think Euro's the only thing. Let's do an Abrade and an Innocent Blood in and trim. I want to trim like one claim here, but maybe I do this Claim Firstborn trim for one more Abrade and try that. Obviously, we were able to kind of grab creatures and go with them, but that might not be the norm, and we probably don't need 3. That's probably for more of the creature versus creature matchup. So let's give this a shot. Let's give it a shot here. A Thoughtseize, repeated Thoughtseize, and a Village Rites. It's not a very fast hand, but I do like the interaction that this hand has. Let's go ahead and give it a shot here. Alright, Arbor? We got the Arbor. They'll be ramping here, and so this Thoughtseize could be very, very useful. Not to mention I'll get to do it again in a turn or so. We'll take Nissa. Looks good. Good start. Grow Spiral here and put the land into play. Put the Arbor. Not much reason to hold, I don't think. Alright, we're gonna chance this a little bit. I'm gonna put the Arcanist down. I could have Thoughtseize, but I get to do that for free here. Tap land. So we do get Unfortunate. They did get a Tamiyo. We don't know though. It could have been after. So they return Nissa here. Let's put Castle Locthwain down. Let's go combat. Thoughtseize away the Nissa. They're blocking. What does this do? Oh, we can't discard. Didn't read the full card. We're professional. We're a professional. Alright, let's put Lurrus into hand and pass turn. That's a pretty good card. Alright. They didn't hit anything really with that. So that's good. They'll untap a land here. Hits for 3. I'm at 13. Things are getting a little bit dicey here. Alright, so I have an Innocent Blood. Innocent Blood could be useful. I almost have to be able to fire off Innocent Blood twice here. Let's check the hand, make sure they didn't grab anything nasty. Ugin's pretty nasty. We'll get rid of that. Oh, that's right. I need to remember what Tamiyo does. Oh, the interface. We gotta get used to it. I want to be able to just hit middle button here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, I think I'm dead. Oh, this was a terrible showing. Maybe we'll just cut this out. No, we won't. No, we won't. Oh, they decided a Crisis here. Well, that's kind of interesting, because I could top very interesting cards here. Alright, they miss again. You have an Explorer. You need to calm down, opponent. You need to calm down. So we have a Thoughtseize here that I don't want. I guess I start with a Village Rites on the Dreadhorde Arcanist here. Trying to hit something that makes me grab Hydroid Crisis here. It's another Village Rites. A couple Innocent Bloods, which probably don't do enough here. I think we've lost. Let's just cast some black spells so I can get my dailies. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus the Nissa. Good job, opponent. Alright. Little match 1 there. Not bad. Let's go to the next one. Alright. So we got our dailies here off that last one. We got 850, 775 experience. Some cool stuff, a pack. We're good to just move into the next one. Let's do a little bit better. Let's read Tamiyo a bit better. We got this. We got this. We'll play probably a couple of these. Like I said, trying to get through our dailies here. A little content for YouTube. Something different. Something different. We'll get some W's in here as well. Make sure that we show off the deck as we can. Alright, we learned our lesson. Don't keep the one mana. This is a little bit better. Let's go ahead and keep it. I kind of like the cycle land. Kind of don't, though. I guess if we flood out, it would be nice to have. But I'll probably put it in tapped then. Let's just do this. Alright, we have a 1-drop. We have Lurrus here. We've got some interaction. Let's see how it goes against the doggos here. Looks like it's the same matchup. Let's see if we've learned anything from our first encounter with this list. We'll give it a good try here. So, Arbor, they're ramping. They put the Temple. They scryed. Now they're up here. 3 mana. What do we got? No follow-up. No follow-up. Alright, let's take a look at the hand here. So we have Nissa. We have a Krasis here. The Krasis right now would draw them 1 card. I think I can handle the Krasis a lot better than I could anything else. So let's take that. Vessel's going in for 1 because it has life link here. An explore for our friend. Puts a land in tapped. So now they get 6 here, which makes it so they can draw 2 cards, which is pretty nice. Scries to the bottom. Plays their land here, and we know full information of what's going on. Alright. For here, because of what we've got, let's go ahead and put a Lurrus into play, or into our hand. Let's attack for a point. Arbor blocks. We gain 20 all. 6, whatever this is. If they make 6 green, though, they need a blue land for Krasis, so that's kind of one benefit we've got going for us right now. Can't make as much mana. They're contemplating. It rounds down, by the way, even though it'd be a X is, what, 3 right now? They draw only 1 card, which is good for us. Alright, they're drawing a card. Gained a little bit of life as well. Alright, so here we're going to go ahead and claim. Gonna go ahead and get cozy and attack. We get 3 in here. This is kind of a fun little interaction that I've run into a few times. We can Innocent Blood here. We get rid of their Krasis. They get rid of their Grazer. And we can put another Archfiend's Vessel down. We do need to get some stuff going here before this Ugin shows up. Which looks like we might get to. Play Lurrus here and attack for a pair. We could cut one of these away in the future. Cut one away and then replay it with Lurrus to get a 5/5. Might need to do that. No land was played off the Growth Spiral. Growth Spiral number 2 does find a land. 2, 4, 6. We're at 6 mana. We're at 7 mana. Oh boy. I'm very afraid. I sort of want to cut one of these away so I can claim it later. So let's go ahead and cut one of these. That way I keep it around. Not to mention that I also have the ribbons for later. This is a play against Ugin getting a 8th land and down ticking. If it's a big Hydroid Crisis, though, we'll be okay. Which is what it looks like. Hydroid Crisis for 6, gain 3. Or gain, no. Gain 2, right? No, it's 3. It's 3 because it was a 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have lethal here. I'm pretty sure I have lethal as long as they don't mess with me. So we claim... And we have to do the claim here because I need the red side of the claim to fame. This sacrifices and makes a dude. We're going to make sure we auto tap for Fame. Make the 5/5 a flyer, hasty. We'll claim away the Hydroid Krasis here, and then we'll punch in for lethal. Got there. All right. Nice interaction out of the graveyard. So, we're going to do something similar here, I think. I'm going to leave the claims at 3. Innocent Blood, I'm going to drop 1. I'm going to drop a cut as well. I'm going to bring in 2 Bedevils, and I want this Butcher. I'm going to drop in Dreadhorde Arcanist for an Abrade. And I think I dropped another Innocent Blood. I kind of want to drop a Village Rites and bring a cut back in. Because the cut does remove a Grazer. That seems okay. Okay. That seems okay. We'll give it a good try here. Getting the handle on the list as we play. We've been playing several matchups now, but every matchup gets you a little bit closer to having something that you understand a little bit more and more and more. Our opponent is sideboarding as well. The most that this waits for is about a minute, I think, usually. And so we'll see if it goes to that minute or not for us. Hopefully it doesn't, but it might. I mean, we're only 5 seconds away. How's your day been? Leave a comment. Glad you're watching. Now you think I'm crazy. Good job, Fluffy. Here we go. Game 2. Game 2 against Big Ugin himself. Now we want an aggressive hand. We clearly saw in Game 2 that aggressive hands were good. This hand, Knight's not bad. I think we're gonna keep it. This is kind of a medium hand though. Kind of middle of the road. Middle of the road, although if we get the Arcanist down, we get going, I think things could lighten up. Forest Hinterland Harbor. I presume we have like a Growth Spiral. Explore. Similar. We can play an additional land. Temple. And able to scry. So we have a scry here. I'm assuming we're going to scry to the top, the bottom, sideways. I assume they're trying to ramp here, right? So if they're trying to ramp, they want to keep a land. They do scry to the top. All right. Let's go ahead and... man. I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive. I get punished a little bit on a 3-drop or a 4-drop here. But I get punished less if they don't have like that Tameo or something else. Idea here is I'm going to get to double down on Thoughtseize, hopefully. The Krasis is fine. So I do get to, and I can remove this out of the way as well. So if we feel like I need to double down on Thoughtseize here, we can definitely do so. My opponent did an oops, apparently. So we got a set of Scavenging Oozes. Okay. I don't have much going to the graveyard here. I think it might be just taking Nissa. Let's just take a Nissa here. Let's go ahead and cut this away. I can then Thoughtseize again on this attack. And we can take one of those Scavenging Oozes. And then I can Innocent Blood the other one away, possibly. This grows Knight of the Ebon Legion as well. Alright, so we got our opponent thinking about this turn. Plays a land here. They've got 5 mana. Another Crisis. We draw. It's a 3/3 now. Okay. I can't exactly get this away from them. It's probably just Innocent Blood, get rid of Arcanist here. I could try to claim it back, or I can put the Butcher down. Let's Innocent Blood here. We're going to get rid of our own Arcanist. They get rid of their creature, and then we're going to just get aggressive here. Obviously, the Scavenging Ooze we can trade with the Butcher, and they can't eat away, so that's kind of nice. I guess they could because they can eat creatures of their own. I take my ribbons away, so now they have 3 mana here. They're taking my Arcanist away, so that grows. Scavenging Ooze. Okay. Let's go ahead and attack with just Knight. Doesn't want to do anything here, so let's go ahead and activate this ability. Feel pretty confident allowing 5 get in there. We're gonna go ahead and shock this in. I can use the Village Rites here on the Dreadhorde if I want to gain or do some damage to them, but also to draw some cards. This claim is probably not doing a whole lot, but next turn I could also claim. I can't claim necessarily anything because there's no targets. So I may not get the Fame side for the Butcher here. They're exiling all their creatures. We need something that kills a relatively large Scavenging Ooze here. That's a pretty big ooze. Alright, we just go to my turn. This looks like a Lurrus turn. Also looks like just a Knight of the Ebon Legion attack first. We can grow this if we want to, and just ignore playing Lurrus, which is probably okay. Go ahead and activate. This Knight's kind of keeping up with the Scavenging Ooze. I think I'm going to just play the Ebon Legion down, just have another creature, because they're both going to grow here, because someone lost more than whatever damage the 4. So now we have, it's not a 7/8, but it's a pretty big threat here. Presume they're going to go ahead and eat Scavenging Ooze. There's nothing else in the graveyard for them to eat, so this is as big as the ooze is going to be. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 mana here. 1 in a Ugin's definitely a problem for us. So we've decided to attack here. I'm going to go with no blocks so they don't have anything to eat. On the off chance it's not land and Ugin here. Or it could be land and Ugin. It is a shame that I don't have Village Rites up here, but everything gets exiled. There's a Thoughtseize. Let's go ahead and see what that last card is. It's just a breeding pool. We did that to check that it wasn't something crazy here. That being said, Ugin's 2 attacks in here and we're dead. So maybe the Thoughtseize didn't need to be played. I don't believe we have an out to Ugin here. So we're going to go to game 3. Any changes? Did I notice anything that really is a problem? Scavenging Ooze is a pretty big problem. I could bring in an extra Innocent Blood for that. The cuts are not too bad against it, though. Bedevil's not bad either against it. Let's run with it. If I had gotten like a claim off the top, that would have definitely changed that game as well. So I think we're going to just run back as is. No real big changes here. Let's play first. I don't think I can keep this. The 1 land, no second land, no way to interact with my opponent. This is a much better hand. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Thoughtseize. I might just ditch the Claim Fame portion here. Just ignore my graveyard and have the 3 lands for the Lurrus here. So Thoughtseize, Butcher, then claim something and keep smashing in. It's probably fine. If I'm not claiming the Firstborn for something, I can put Lurrus into hand. So yeah, Claim Fame is to the bottom here. Claim Firstborn is going to be kept, and Lurrus will be our turn 3 if nothing else happens. We'll keep the 6. So Claim to Fame, goodbye. Change our dog to Pyro Dog. Pyro Doggo. I do appreciate the shadow here. It's nice. Alright, let's take a Thoughtseize to them and see what we're working against. Look at that, 2 cages and a Euro. So I think I'm going to just ditch the Euro here. 2 cages is a bit of a problem, but we got rid of the claim, and that's not exactly the direction we have to be. And that's what I like about the Fling version. So we've said that a couple times now. I think this is great, though. To have more of an aggressive deck. To have something that doesn't rely so heavily on the graveyard. So there's a cage down. And once again, it's not doing a whole lot. The Vessel's kind of a nice card that obviously isn't going to be happening here due to the cage. We probably just bring Lurrus into our hand unless we get like another Butcher or something off the top. So 2 cages to get through at some point in this game. Probably not happening. We'll just put Lurrus into hand and pass. So we can play Fiend and Lurrus next turn. If my opponent doesn't have a creature, it's looking pretty good. Butcher in for 3. Lurrus played. Vessel played. We can claim something if they play a Krasis here, and we're looking fairly good. We can even do that off a Young Pyro. Got the nice. Got the nice. Don't need the graveyard. There you go. There you go. Let's get our daily points there. That one worked nicely. Grab these and we'll go into our next match. Hooray! Look. Ooh, we got a Royal Scions. And our next one is Doggo. We gotta get that dog. We gotta get Armor Dog. Armor Dog. Why? Because I've been bribed with cosmetics on MTGA. All right. Now, first we'll mulligan this. We can keep this. We can probably get rid of a land here. We can keep a... We got rid of the claim because a lot of people board in and graveyard. Here, I'm probably okay to get rid of a mountain here because most of my options here are going to be able to be played, what I would presume. So, You can build this list with Kroxa as well. We may provide a little bit of a deck review at the end of this, of the alternate version with a little bit of Kroxa, and we'll keep both lists down below. So go ahead and check those out if you're a arena streamer, arena player, whatever you may be. Both lists, though, have been really fun. I think the Kroxa list can have some more mid-range to late game power, but can get kind of hosed by the artifacts that and the enchantments that remove graveyards, like Rest in Peace and Graft Digger's Cage, which are both legal and historic. This one's kind of cool because it has some interactions with Village Rites and just flinging things at your opponent. Flinging the damage and all is pretty cool, especially since that trigger to get another counter on happens during your phases, not necessarily right at end step, so that's kind of nice as well. But I think if you're a modern player ever considering what's going on in a historic, this list is pretty good, pretty good. All right. Let's go ahead and give it a shot at attacking here. We have a Hallowed Fountain, Isolated Chapel, so we have some sort of Esper thing going on. We have Yorion as well as on the other side here. So let's go ahead and see what our opponent's got maybe going on for us. If they go to try to get rid of this Dreadhorde Arcanist, I could Village Rites. I think I also can just like try to maybe claim it back. So we'll kind of play out here and see if we can get something from our graveyard in a little bit here. But you have some lines there. You have definitely some things to consider. Opponent Thoughtseizes us. Now I kind of wish I fired off the Village Rites, but they might take claim because I have the Arcanist in the yard. This is a tough one. I'm not sure what you would want to take here. I think if I'm them, I take the Village Rites. They do take the claim, though, because that would get the Arcanist back. Alright. Let's go ahead and attack for a point here. Let's see if we can get a Young Pyro down. And pass the turn. So this is kind of cool. I do have this Village Rites kind of at beck and call here for when I want to play it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oath. So Oath's going to probably hit the Young Pyro. To get some value out of this Young Pyro, we're going to go ahead and sacrifice it and draw some cards here. So we hit a Butcher, and we need another Vessel here as well. So these are good cards. They also don't gain any life, which is nice. Alright, let's go ahead and throw a Butcher in here, and let's go ahead and attack for some damage. It's a hasty threat, which is nice. So it may look like we're a bit behind here, since our opponent's only at 15. But right now, if they have no way to interact with the Butcher very well, this can turn into 3-4 extra damage when it dies. Now, blue-white in general has some exile effects, and so we do need to be careful because they are representing Esper colors and do have those blue-whites. And we'll just have to see. This could also be just a simple, just blow up all of your creatures and stuff with like some sort of wrath. Alright, so it's a Yorion, and they actually are playing a Yorion mainboarded. So that's kind of cool. Oath is going to go ahead and shoot something here. I assume it's going to be the Butcher. They gain some life here. We can just target them. And there you go. Alright. So, we are at a point where it may make sense to put Lurrus into hand. Let's go ahead and go to combat here. I can pretty safely just attack with the Vessel. And I think I'll put Lurrus in the hand, and I'm going to put a Vessel down. We'll pass. Omen of the Sea. So this looks like it's a little more cantrip heavy, ETB effects, maybe not so much the seals, because the seal would just leave and come back. So we have an Oath of Kaya here as a threat. So these are going to be our threats we've got to deal with. And I think we've got a good chance at dealing with most of them. This is a very nice card to have drawn here. Let's go ahead and attack for some damage. It's a nice card because I can actually get rid of the Urian here. The other option, though, is to play Lurrus down and prep for next turn. They're somewhat tapped out, so this may be the turn to go ahead and get rid of this. And then I can play Lurrus plus something. So let's go ahead and do this. Unfortunately, I don't have another black for Lurrus here. I'll just have to deal with that. So we won't be able to play something right after I put Lurrus into play. But I could be Village Rites the Vessel. I would have needed to do that before Narset comes down here. If they go after the Vessel in any way, I'll still use Village Rites to at least draw 1 instead of 2. But at this point, I kind of want to be able to Fame the Vessel and get rid of the Narset. I don't want them to get 2 cards off of Narset. I just want 1. Wrath of God. All right. It's a pretty good card. All right. I don't think we need to take any actions here. Just going to chill. We'll do our Fame side here so I can get rid of the Narset. Okay. They gain a little bit here. That's totally fine. If I get this cleared, which is very likely, they have Urian Wrath of God. If I can clear this, then the Village Rites becomes that much more powerful. I think we'll just give it back to our opponent. 2 unknowns, 2 very powerful cards. Thought Erasures here. I'm going to go ahead and let them take whatever they want here. Innocent Blood deals with Urian, Village Rites draws me cards, and Lurrus gets to play things out of the yard. There's a lot of cards here that they probably don't like seeing. They do take Lurrus, so that's good. It's a good pickup for them. I believe they kept the card on top for their deck here. And we are just going to slam Urian here. So this is fine. We're going to draw a few cards here. They're going to ETB these. Okay. We can just sacrifice our creature. Draw a few cards here. Cut doesn't quite get rid of Urian, unfortunately. But Innocent Blood will. So we can Innocent Blood Knight pretty nicely here. They scried 1 bottom, 1 top, so they probably kept that 1 card that they've kept for a little while now. Oh, shoot. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. We're supposed to Innocent Blood first. My bad. Grabbed the wrong card. That one might cost us a little bit here. We'll see how much that costs us. Well, that was a misgrab. Scries 2 to the top and keeps the card. Well, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. It might not have actually mattered at this point. Alright, I think we've gone way too long with this opponent, and this hero of Dominaria is probably going to take this game over. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize. The Thought Erasure really messed us up with the Lurrus. I'll take a Urian. Man, they're just playing Urians within Urians here. Woo, buddy. We may go to our next game here. We need to be faster than this. I think one thing that you can respect with Arena is it gives you that kind of sense that I could play as long as I need to, but there is a point where if you were in Paper Magic, you get to this point where, yeah, I probably don't have an out. I need to concede so I can get through the tournament. And we're probably fast approaching that at this point. I have our ribbons here. Maybe if I draw a Butcher, I force them to do something here. We have a Trial of Ambition. Ooh. Interesting trial to have. Can't imagine you have cartouches. I guess it's just the ETB. ETB with Urian. We need Torpor Orb in the format. Alright, at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and concede. My opponent's going to draw 2 more cards here. They're in a good spot here. They have the castle, the white castle as well. So Butcher in, Bedevil's in, probably an Abrade or 2. Duress is okay card to bring in for this matchup. Innocent Blood I might keep. Cuts, no. Claims, no. Claim the Firstborn. I'm bringing Abrades in for the Grafdigger's cages that might show up. Thoughtseize seems good. Duress seems pretty good. Butchers seem good. I can go down 1 Abrade. Bedevil kind of does 2 sides there. We'll go down 1 Innocent Blood, although I'll need it for Urian. It's probably not worth 2. Let's go down 1 Arcanist as well. Yeah. We're going to go down 1 Arcanist as well. We want to be a little bit more aggressive, and Arcanist to me is a bit of a slower card. The value that you would get playing the spells over and over, though, definitely could be worth it. But I think we want Butcher. We want to be smashing in. We're going to hope they sideboard real heavily into the graveyard. I did keep the claims in, just in case we do get some wrath effects. But on the brighter sides here, definitely not as interactive with the graveyard. So if they side heavily to that, we'll be in good shape. Let's see where this next match goes. They are ready. I like Luca here. Looks pretty cool. All right, we will play first. I have a lot of interaction, but absolutely no pressure here with this hand. It's nice, but Village Rites doesn't do much. Bedevil's going to only hit something when it's already down, so we're going to mulligan. This hand, though, fabulous. We'll keep. I can get rid of probably a mountain, although we could play... Let's play like we did before. Claim out. We're going to Thoughtseize, Butcher, Lurrus, maybe the hand, or play the Young Pyro. All right. Look at this. Grafdigger Cage, Elspeth. Let's take the Eliminate. Heavy into the graveyard deck. Nice top deck. Butcher and the Butcher should be plenty of damage here. And taking the Eliminate, it's going to be good. I don't think they have much exile here, and the Elspeth doesn't hit it, so we're in good shape. Grafdigger Cage from my opponent, I presume. As such, there it is. I think I want to Thoughtseize again, but I think we're safe for a turn. Let's play Butcher down. Let's hit for some damage and pass. Up they go. Getting to Young Pyro plus Thoughtseize this next turn may be game ending. They put Urian into hand. Let's go ahead and Young Pyro here. Let's go ahead and Thoughtseize to check the hand for anything terribly disastrous. We have a Shatter the Sky, which I'm going to go ahead and grab. At the same time, Shatter would be hitting them for an additional 7. And I would draw a card. So that's pretty good. But I think we got there. Down to a point here. I'm going to try to Village. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Hit him for 4. There you go. Send it back. No changes. We got a little bit of a glimpse there. What's interesting is now they're going to be like, do I need the Grafdigger's Cage? And they're going to start to second guess themselves. So you could move a little bit more into your graveyard strategy if you have a game like that. If you don't have a game like that, you won't convince them to pull out their graveyard cards. Let's go game 3 against our Luca friend in Historic. I like this list though. It's got some cool things it's doing. It's very interesting to say the least. Got a lot of angles that we haven't quite seen on the recording today, but you could see in your future if you play it. All right, so my opponent presumably will be on the play. We will be on the draw. This hand is gas. Let's keep this. Very similar to our last one. I will be Thoughtseizing first. The Vessel would be nice, but I do need to probably, you know, check what's going on over there. So we'll Thoughtseize. So we have a Heartless Act, we have an Oath of Kaya, and we have a Narset Parter of Veils. Kaya's kind of annoying because it gains them life. Let's do Oath of Kaya out here. We can play slightly slower with a Dreadhorde Arcanist. This will encourage my opponent on their turn to get rid of this. And then I can follow this up with a Butcher plus a Vessel or something. I can't imagine they're going to be okay with not firing off. Oh yeah, that's right. I left him with the Heartless, or the Heartless. Either way, I like this line from my opponent. We'll see what they grab here with their Narset. They grab a new Narset, and apparently we're just going to flood out with Butchers here. So let's go ahead. You know what? Because they drew a new Narset, let's just go face here. If I hit another land here, we're gonna have triple Butcher, and then I can claim a Butcher back when they Wrath. This is looking pretty good. Oh, a Cage. Okay, I can't claim a Butcher back, which is a bit of a problem. There's not much in our yard, though. We might see Narset plus Cage here. The second Narset, if it misses a Wrath effect, I'll probably go after it. Alright, so they caged. Bonus Narset. And if this misses, I think they'll be in good shape. We might even put Lurrus into hand and hold 2 Butchers. Alright, they do hit a Wrath effect. They hit a Wrath effect. Let's go ahead and do all attack at Narset here. This Butcher grows, and I'm going to pass the turn not using Lurrus here. I want them to use this Wrath effect here. I'm going to Village Rites to draw and hopefully hit another land for this extra Dreadhorde Butcher here. So that's the idea here. And I do hit the land. This 3 damage goes upstairs. Alright. So here, Butcher, Butcher, and they need to be able to Wrath again right now, or I think they'll lose pretty rapidly. So we'll see if they have a second Wrath. They do. They do. Alright, so we hit them for an additional 4 here. Lucky for me, if I hit a land, I can Lurrus and Knight and Archfiend, which is pretty good. Oh, I hit the wrong land. I'm going to enter this tapped. I'm thinking about firing that claim off, but I do have like a Bedevil or something else that could take care of the cage. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 mana here. They can't quite Urian and put it back into hand. And Urian doesn't get them anything at the moment. I'm afraid of a big Planeswalker here. Another Wrath of God. Jeez, that's 3 of them. Alright, Urian into hand. Lucky for me, I get to play Lurrus down. Alright, so I can't cast anything, but if I hit my Bedevil or my Abrade, we'll be in good shape. Urian here, nothing really important to note. Play a land, let's use Castle here. There's our Abrade. So I'm just going to Abrade the cage here, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the Vessel into play because that becomes a 5/5. There we go. It's coming together. No attack. No attack. I've got this nice claim here too. Land drop for our opponent. Can't really attack through a Urian. All right. So here, let's go ahead and attack with a 5/5. I'm going to... Let's activate Castle first. We have a lot of mana. I have an extra Butcher now. Alright, let's play a Butcher in. Probably should have gotten one of those in before. I don't think I... Maybe I... Could have claimed and famed a 5/5, but I think we can do that this coming turn. There we go. Through what? 3 Wrath effects. We made it work. We got there. We took down a victory. So, with that, I think that's a nice little taste of the list. If you'd like to see more of it, please let us know. We'll claim our prizes here. Little Temple of Plenty. Nice. List was this one here. A little bit of an aggro version of a Kroxa typical list. This one's using the Dreadhorde Butcher, and I think in that last matchup, you got to really see some of the points where, yeah, they were able to Wrath effect, and then they were able to get all the creatures off, but we were able to put enough damage in as well. The other variation of the list, which you can find down below in the description, is this one. This one has Kroxa. This one has a little bit of Mardu as well for things like Dire Tactics and for Deathspark. These are just a few different things that give you a variety of what you can attack with the list. So this one's a little more on the graveyard-centric piece. So we'll get both of those lists down below. But for me, right now, I think this aggro one here that we have up is the one to play. I think it's fun. I think it's got some interesting angles and definitely something that I would recommend as maybe a list if you can get all the wild cards to play in Historic. That's going to do it. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of Arena, and we'll see you in the next ones. Let us know. Would you like to see more of this? Leave a comment. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. See you next time.